Yeah, so let's quickly just go over the requirements for being a member. You would need to have 3 months of experience in Project Catalyst and knowledge of its purpose and how it operates, experience in idea skill, able to devote 10 hours, 10 plus hours per week to the Catalyst Circle, flexible for meeting times to coordinate with people around the globe, ability to work with people and communicate professionally in both written and verbal modes of interaction. And lastly, to be an active participant in the community, which you'll be representing. Nice to haves will be obviously participating or voting in some manner in the Catalyst, having acted as a community advisor, having a presence in the Catalyst community Discord, and familiarity of the tools, so Zoom, Telegram, Discord, and Google Docs and Sheets. All right then. All right. Without further ado, Raymond, would you like to kick us off?
Absolutely. All right. Well, thanks for showing up, everybody, and for the nominations. I'll just introduce myself. I'm a stake pool operator for Grow. And my journey as a stake pool operator began about a month before Shelly Mainnet shipped. I was able to register a pool on the ITN. And at that point, there were two things happening for me as a stake pool operator, right? I was really more concerned about whether I can actually commit resources to running the backbone for a blockchain for as long as possible. And did I have the technical aptitude? Did I have the skill set to be able to do that? It wasn't until about a week or two before mainnet launched that I saw that there was a massive marketing need, a way for me to actually get myself out, who I was and what I was trying to do for the ecosystem. I saw that Cardano was positioning itself to be able to maximize the flow of wealth on the planet. And I saw that we had the skill as a community and the capacity also to do a greater good. So that's how I aligned myself into the community. It became really apparent to me as I was learning how to be a stake pool operator that I was dealing with a global community, right? I was dealing with a very diverse set of value systems, a very diverse set of needs and skill sets from all around the world, people in different languages, people in different time zones, people with different needs. And so I realized for myself, I had to take a step back and get out of my own needs for what was happening in the community and start to look at how the only way this community was going to survive is actually if we work together, right? How is I going to be one voice among many? How is I going to become a node of consensus for the knowledge, the skill, the value that the community needs to actually sustain itself over a long period of time? And so I found myself starting to listen more. I got really curious about who other stake pool operators were and what their needs were, why they were in this ecosystem. I saw that there were small stake pool operators that were staunchly committed to only running one pool no matter what, because they wanted decentralization to survive and succeed, and that was their top priority. And then I also started meeting very large stake pool operators who had multi-pools, and they realized they were competing not in a pond, but in an ocean. So there was plenty of room for this business model to expand, make a lot of money, and do a lot of good. So I realized that I was now part of a community that was highly competitive, right? We're all racing to win. And I also found myself helping other people to beat me, helping other people to be their best. Because I realized that for Cardano to be the best, all of us need to be our best. And so after, I would say in the beginning of August, Charles Hoskinson came out and said, hey, stake pool operators, you're a business and you're a community. We need a trade association in this community. Who's going to show up and start forming a trade association here? We need a way to communicate with ecosystem partners. We need quality communication channels, right? How do we bring the community together under a smaller voice and have decision-making power on network parameters like K and pledge and so forth? We could see that IOG is still in control of these parameters, right? So at some point, the training wheels have to come off, and we have to show IOG that we as a community can make decisions and choices about how we govern ourselves, right? So about 200 stake pool operators got together in a community and formed an organization called SPACRA. And I was voted in as a founding board member. I was one amongst 9 to help establish a global community that was listening to the voices of other stake pool operators and their needs. Small stake pool operators, medium-sized and large-sized stake pool operators. What are the things that we all need? And what are the things that we individually need, right? So we also had the very first vote on mainnet, actually. The voting for the board was the very first public mainnet vote that ever happened on Cardano. That was really exciting to be a part of that. And after that, I just found myself in a number of different groups, Telegram groups, Twitter groups, secret groups, all kinds of interesting groups that were getting together to bring their collective resources and their skill sets into a place where we could essentially become the backbone for a multi-generational legacy serving the most people on this planet, right? So Catalyst,
Thanks, Ray.
I first
wrap up quickly, thanks.
What was that?
That's your 5 minutes. If you could wrap it up, just give a couple seconds.
Okay, yeah. So the reason I'm running here, I see the Catalyst Circle is a node of consensus for the collective of the Cardano community. We have an emotional, intellectual, and spiritual responsibility to bring this community to the best place that we can. And that's why I'm here, because I see that we have what it takes. And I believe these are the very first steps that we can take in forming a decision-making circle for Voltaire, for governance. This is the very first, these are baby steps in community governance. Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you so much. All right, then, is Tien Nguyen here?
Yes.
Great, would you like to be next?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Thank you, everyone. It's my honor to be here, and I'm very happy to be here to write my voice. I think the reason to bring me here is I am running my pool and I have a network with the other HPO, and I can see many potential threats to with small and medium HPO nowadays. So I would like to be a sensor to detect the challenge and any threat, and I want to say the voice to the committee, to the Catalyst Circle. And second thing is I want to work with the Catalyst Circle to propose and deploy strategy in right time. And the third thing, I want to bring more people to Catalyst and bring more projects to Cardano ecosystem. That is three things that bring me to at nominee for Catalyst Circle. That a quick introduction for myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Tien. All right, is Ron here? Ron Hill. Okay, Don Floor. All right, well, we may have wrapped up pretty early then. I think that's all the candidates. We'll give them a chance to trickle in here, but that may be a short list. Very nice. So I think we'll throw in the chat if we have a link to the election proposal for voting.
Are we doing some Q&A as well?
Yeah, we have some extra time. Would you like to do the Q&A before we dump that in the chat?
Be nice to perhaps put some questions to the candidates, get an idea before we make our decisions. So Ray, I was really interested to hear you were back involved right at the ITN days. Can you tell us a bit about the first mainnet vote that went on?
Yeah. So, after Charles did his AMA, a bunch of us jumped into a Discord channel and we're like, okay, what are we doing here? How do we become a trade association? And it was at that point that I saw the beauty and the power that state pool operators have, not only to compete and race against each other, but also to work together and collaborate. I sort of took the helm and helped to organize and funnel the energy of the group into establishing a rough draft for what we were going to be and what our goals were. At that point, it became obvious that we needed to poll the community. We needed to get out to the larger state pool community, not just the 200 people that showed up in our container, but the 1,000 people that were already coming onto the mainnet at that point, and start to get a sense for what their needs were, where they're coming from, what are their concerns, what are their fears. And so we were really fortunate to have some very skilled state pool operators amongst us. Adam Dean was one of them, and him and a few of the rest of us got together and created a survey. And the survey turned into a voting mechanism where we were actually able to vote by dust, and in some cases on the CLI if necessary. But we were actually able to look at a ballot. We had 2 rounds of voting. We were able to look at a ballot and say, okay, who are the candidates? And we were able to vote on which candidate and give them actually a score. So we had 3 votes. And the first vote had the highest number of points, followed by descending points. And so we just got out there and told everybody who we were. We started showing up in interviews and podcasts and saying, here, this is what we're doing. We're trying to get people together. We announced who we were. We were SPOCRA, State Pool Operators Collective Representation Assembly. Quite a mouthful. And Charles Hoskinson actually acknowledged us several times in some of his AMAs and was really happy to see that the community had gathered around some consensus around this. So that's really how that whole thing happened. And we were very excited to, have that first vote on mainnet and have that immutable on the blockchain. I think we actually still have some of that information available if you actually want to see the ballots and who was voted and all that stuff. We made an official SPOCRA video actually that showcased the history of SPOCRA and what we're doing and all that stuff.
Excellent. That's really good. Thanks, Ray. Ken, you got your hand up. You got a question?
There we go. Can you hear me okay? I'm just on my laptop.
Yep.
Perfect.
Really, I don't know that this really matters so much. And if a better question comes up, but the equipment that the 2 of you, as far as the governance here, are we only voting for the 2 that are available and present? Or you said there was somebody else that was a nominee. Okay, so they had to be present. Very good, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's gonna make much sense.
Yeah, so the matter of what equipment are you guys running out on the cloud, or are you mentioned that you understand single pool, bare metal, state pool, and you have good representation of a number of people. So I'm curious about the equipment that you are running for your experience.
I started, I came in the cloud space. I had some experience already. I was running out of Microsoft Azure. And the reason I chose the cloud space initially was because it allowed me to scale very quickly. I can remove and add CPUs quickly. I can change my RAM quickly. I can change the size of my disk quickly. I can copy my pool across multiple data centers around the world. I can have failover across different data centers around the world if I needed to. I didn't have to worry about a power backup system failing, about a internet service provider in my neighborhood amplifying my internet signal and failing because the power is out. I didn't have to worry about those kinds of things. I was dealing with data centers that were tier 4. We're talking the 4 nines, 99.99% uptime. 99.99% uptime translates to 56 minutes of downtime a year. Uptime for a state pool operator is huge. In the beginning, we didn't have leader logs. So we didn't know when we were making our blocks. We had no idea when our blocks were going to come. All we knew is that our nodes had to be checking every single slot, which is every single second of every single day, to make sure that when those transactions need to fall and get stored and packed into a block, the node was there to do that. That's really, in my opinion, the job of the state pool operator. So we're very fortunate to have the community builders and tools that we have with Joy Manager and CNCLI, Andrew Westberg, and some other guys out there that establish these tools that make it possible for us to schedule downtime, keep our nodes up, etc. So back to the choice for cloud provider. There's also the ability to do backups. I can make a snapshot within 20 seconds of my node and then run an update to the node. If the update is bad or there's a problem or my database corrupts when it's bootstrapping back in, I can restore that node very quickly and stay on point and stay on tip. So that's one of the main reasons why I chose the cloud provider space. I also looked at being hybrid, so that if the cloud fails, I have a nice node sitting on a laptop that I can come up to, right? So the block producer has a backup on a node.
Sorry, Raymond, sorry to interrupt. I think Loris has one question. And also, if anyone had any questions for Tien as well.
Tien, perhaps you could answer that last one
Yes.
as well.
So I have actually for both candidates, because, this position is very important for SPOs in the future and building everything there. So the question for both candidates is, what is the greatest achievement or what you have done so far for the Cardano community? Because you will be representing, so I suppose you have done something so far, and maybe you can just share some information.
Yeah. I run my pool on cloud as well, on Google Cloud. And when we are, I have my friend, many of my friends are running the other pool, so we have a less and less candidate. The candidate moving to the other, so we have to team up together. We minimize the relay node and at possible. However, the thing we chose Google Cloud or the other cloud, I think Raymond already mentioned the advantage of the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And to Loris's question, what do you feel is your biggest achievement in the Catalyst ecosystem so far?
Sorry, Jonathan?
So my question was, what is, let's say, your greatest achievement so far, or what you have done so far for the Cardano community?
The thing we can bring to Cardano community, we run many program to gather the proposer and voter to Cardano ecosystem and get them joy to every fund.
So you've been supporting people putting proposals in, is that right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I am a member of Eastern Tahoe moderator. So we run bi-weekly meeting, and people join and understand what the Catalyst is, and the number of people join every meeting increasingly month by month.
Excellent, thank you.
Nice.
Ray, perhaps that question to you.
Yeah, it's it's one of those questions where I think the answer is really the community is really the one that can answer that the best, as far as what my real highest contribution has been. Me personally, I feel that I pioneered the charity space in Cardano's community. I helped show that the state pool model as a business, it was also capable of generating not only wealth for itself, but for a greater good around it. I believe for a long time that true wealth lives in the environment around us, when the people around us are thriving, when our communities are healthy, when our air is clean, our water is clean, right? Those are the things that matter. So I saw that Cardano is really an opportunity to show the world that we weren't just about our addictive little crypto pump and dump selves, right? We actually cared about making a real lasting legacy impact in the world and changing the lives of people, not only for themselves, but also for our future community. A lot of people who we're serving just as state cooperators and in the larger groups that are working together on common missions. These are people who are future, these like children in my case, they're future members of our community that are learning about what we're doing and are going to be welcomed with open arms into this growing community. So I think most people, when they see me and they see Grow, they see someone who was pioneering, bringing and funneling the wealth that this incredible ecosystem is capable of generating out to a greater good, serving a larger circle than itself.
Well, I have a question. So, I mean, I know that the time commitments are quite high in this position. So, you know, we're talking about 10 hours a week. What's your availability like, Tian Ray? And maybe we'll also, because I think we should probably go into the vote in the next couple of minutes. What's your thing you'd most like to try and achieve in the next 3 months in your term in the Catalyst Circle?
The first thing is I will quit my job to get a fully dedication for Cardano and the project on Cardano ecosystem. I think I have more time on that. And for the second question, what I can do in the next 3 months, I think I will write on the my understand about the current situation for the small or medium, even the big pool nowadays we have, and we will work with the Catalyst Circle to propose a solution and deploy the solution as soon as possible. I think that's the first thing I will do. Yeah. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Ray?
Right on. I honor that, man. That's great. You know, I a year ago, I couldn't do this. 10 hours a week wasn't possible. I came into this community running a managed service provider and IT business here on the islands, and that was taking a lot of my time. Since then, actually July of this year, I gave my business to my partner. I am receiving some passive income from that, but I transferred it to him, which means a lot of my responsibility and time needs. And so all of a sudden I have all this extra time for Cardano. So I really see myself hopefully being able to just completely give all my time to Cardano. And I think that the way I've shown up for SPACRA, the way I've shown up for Cardano Mission Driven Pools Group, we're showing up every week. So I understand what time commitment actually means. 10 hours does feel like a lot, I'll be honest, that is a lot of time. And at the same time, this community needs it. And I've seen what that kind of time commitment does. It grows and makes things better. I see where sacrifices go in terms of how they translate to things that make things better for all of us. So I do believe in them, and I'm not alone, right? I'm also on SPACRA still. And Lars is on SPACRA, Ron is on SPACRA, Kyle is on SPACRA. So you also have the support of a group that's been organizing around this idea for a very long time. And I'm just really excited that we're now moving into this sort of circle of consensus that can become like a node of consensus, a collective point for the community that can echo the voice of whatever that collective is and what it feels as a collective it needs, not just myself and my own selfish self, but what others are needing and wanting from this, right? That's the thing about representing in this community, is that it's ultimately, what are the voices that put me here, and what are the voices that bring us to the best place we can be in as a community? So that's why that's why I'm here. I feel like I'm in enough rooms and chats and, you know, places to be a node, to be a useful person in this place.
Excellent.
Excellent. Thank you both so much for the Q&A extra discussions as well. That really, I think, helped. We're gonna go ahead and put in the chat the link to the stake pool voting form. Everyone would like to go and fill that out. Just a reminder, only vote once per room that you're in as well.
Vote once for all
Don't vote
candidates.
in
You can
multiple
vote
rooms.
for only one candidate.
Don't vote. Yeah, vote for only one candidate, and don't if you voted in another room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And are we just taking votes for Tian and Raymond? Is that right? Because Ron didn't make it.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, and this is for them, for Tian or Raymond, not and, right? Just
Yeah.
I wanted to make clear because last time I did it wrong.
Yeah, perfect. One person, one vote. Let's do it.
Oh, nice job on the voting form, by the way, whoever did that.
Short and simple.
That's Felix, I think.
Anyone need
Are we all
more
done?
time? All right, then. I think, Jonathan, do we go back to the main room while we collect votes and have the coffee break?
Yeah, we can
Cool.
head back for the coffee break. Starts at 10 past. So we've got 5 minutes unless you want to hang.
Thank you, Ken. Thanks for that
Thank
comment.
you. Thank you, everyone.
Good job. Excited to see the results.
So the results will be available after the coffee goes in.
I forget exactly how quickly they get compiled.
The votes are in. I think we're at 13. So
Everybody's gone back to the main room, if I'm not mistaken.
yep.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah, I
I'll
was
see you
wondering.
there.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Guys.